a man found a strange eyeball. He wanted to transplant it into the eye of his blind daughter, Casey. But just as he cut open the eyeball, a shadow scurried out. It was a kind of bug called an eyeworm, which had the ability to restore eyesight. Before long, the eyeworm actually slipped into Casey's eye. Her eyesight then began to recover. Her father showed Casey everything in the world, but he had no idea about the hidden danger within this. At first, Casey could see things hundreds of feet away. Later, she could even see straight through walls. Her ability kept growing. She could see the village beyond the mountains, and even the sea, which was miles away, looked as if it were right in front of her. But the side effects of the eyeworm slowly started to show. Casey often felt dizzy and lightheaded, and only closing her eyes could ease the feeling. She thought this would solve the problem, but the eyeworm's power grew stronger and stronger. In the end, even when she closed her eyes, she could still see. One day, she saw an old man fall off a ladder. A few days later, this incident really happened, so she realized she could see the past and the future. The news spread quickly. Villagers flocked to her, begging for help. The crowd grew larger and larger, but Casey's life became much harder than before. No one wanted to be friends with someone who could see through their fate. She knew when people would die, yet she could do nothing to change their destiny. One day, she saw her father's future. He would fall off a cliff. She knew she could not stop this from happening. She watched silently as her father walked into the mountains to chop wood. A few days later, her father fell to his death. After the funeral, Casey never went home again. She wandered around, making a living by playing the chin and telling stories, until one day she met Dr. Jack. She told him her name and her identity. Jack learned that her ability had become so powerful, and then Casey told him everything. She predicted that the eyeworm would leave her that day. The bug would crawl out of her eye and wait for its next host. To prevent others from suffering the same pain as her, she planned to bury her own eyes deep in the mountains to stop the eyeworm from escaping. But Jack wanted to cure her eyes, and Casey refused. Shortly after, her eyes started to burn. 2 eyeballs fell out of her eye sockets. Jack was already prepared. Like an insect catcher, he caught the eyeworm with a bottle. As a doctor, Jack felt guilty for failing to cure her eyes, but Casey let out a sigh of relief. She said, "I am more afraid of a painful life than I am of darkness." If you were Casey, would you want the ability to see the future?